Acura has a long history of compact sedans in North America with mixed results. The four-door Integra stole the hearts of many, but the company's most recent sedan, the ILX, never really caught on, and Acura knows this, so they're making changes. But are they enough for you to give it a second chance? The ILX never really had an identity of its own. With forgettable styling, it didn't have that premium look that's needed in this segment, and worst of all, it didn't really share many Acura styling cues with other cars. So to fix this, the ILX has now become a scaled-down version of the TLX. The front and rear fascias have been altered, and the car rides on 17-inch wheels with optional 18s in the A-Spec package. In Acura's quest to jewelize all things, the ILX now has LED headlights, but it's not a full LED headlight setup. The inside two holes are just empty, and behind them is a traditional high-beam halogen light. And as I mentioned, there is this A-Spec package, and what that does to the exterior of the car, besides upgrading the wheel size, is you also get a spoiler, fancier side sills, and fog lights. But the biggest issue for the ILX had to do with the drivetrain. Let's forget about the manual-only 201 horsepower option. That sold at less than 5%, as nobody in this car really wanted a manual. Most cars came with a 2-liter 150 horsepower engine and a 5-speed automatic. Now, although that engine was exclusive to the ILX, that wasn't much different than the corporate sibling of this car, the Civic. And worse still, compared to other small premium vehicles like the Audi A3 and the Mercedes CLA, this car was woefully underpowered. Thankfully, the ILX finally seems ready for prime time. All 6 versions of the 2016 car now come with a 2.4-liter direct injection 4-cylinder engine that makes the same 201 horsepower, but has more torque now at 180 pound-feet. The engine is paired exclusively to Acura's new 8-speed automatic dual-clutch transmission. For those of you that are keeping score at home, that's 51 more horsepower and 3 more gears than the old ILX. You might also notice, though, that the manual transmission has been axed. Normally I'm pretty sad about the death of a manual transmission, but if it has to go, at least the 8-speed dual clutch is a fantastic unit. After driving the TLX last year, I proclaimed that the 4-cylinder 8-speed combo was the car to have, and now it's available in a lighter, smaller package. The new ILX does weigh 3,100 pounds, which is more than the old model, but that's still 400 pounds lighter than the TLX. Despite the large power gain, you don't really feel the extra oomph behind the wheel until the RPM range builds. Now this is normal for a naturally aspirated engine, but I was expecting just a little more throw-you-back acceleration in this car. But if you want to have a little fun with the car, put it in sport mode, and during hard braking, it will downshift 2 gears, blipping the throttle perfectly matching the revs near redline. Of course, you're not always going to be ripping around in this car, and around town, it is still a great car to drive because the 8-speed dual clutch has a torque converter that basically eliminates any of the jerkiness usually associated with these transmissions. And despite the huge gains in horsepower, because the engine is direct injection and the transmission has so many more gears, fuel economy actually goes up. 1 mile per gallon for both city and highway, that's now listed at 25 and 36 respectively. In the quest for greater safety, Acura engineers have stiffened up the chassis and body of the ILX. An added side benefit of that is greater handling. Now, that's the one area the ILX was always pretty good at, but I am one to welcome a more responsive vehicle. And after a back-to-back drive with the old 2015 model, I don't really notice a difference. Now, it's not saying the steering feel isn't good, it's just it was always good, so they haven't really made it any better. But this is a luxury car, and how it feels inside is as important as how it drives, and it took me less than 2 minutes to notice just how much quieter the 2016 ILX is. It also has a suspension setup that's a good balance between comfort and responsiveness. The ILX is fun to drive. It recaptures some of that old enjoyment from the Integra 4-door sedan. Inside, the interior has been tweaked a little bit with the 2016 model, with the biggest change coming on the center stack. There's now the Honda Acura dual screen setup, and what I really like with the bottom screen, like the TLX, is that it can actually display you song information on the audio, whereas in some of the Honda products it still does not. Aside from a new gauge cluster, the rest of the interior is pretty familiar. The A-Spec package does alter a couple things to give it a sportier feel though. And to keep up with the ILX's competitors, high-end tech features like adaptive cruise, active lane keep, and rear cross traffic alert are now optional. The 2016 ILX will begin at $28,820 after destination charges. That's roughly an $850 increase over the old ILX, but you do get a lot more for the money now. But be careful with the options, because there are a lot more offered in the ILX, and the price can easily eclipse the $35,000 mark if all the boxes are ticked off. Acura keeps repeating that the 2016 ILX is more than just a mid-cycle refresh, and after driving the car I tend to agree. It may have taken 2 tries, but it appears the ILX is finally ready to compete against the Mercedes CLA and the Audi A3.